Hi there, this is Mark McRae from markmcrae.com, and I was asked a very interesting question today about looking for opportunities when you're speaking to people about trying to further your vision, your company, what the potential is. And they were finding it difficult, for example, to see those opportunities during a conversation. And the example I gave is that years ago, and probably over 20 years ago, a friend of mine's was an insurance broker. And these are in the days where there wasn't that much regulations. I mean, today it's very litigious, it's a minefield, it's a very hard field to be in. But in those days, it wasn't as bad. And my friend had a small brokerage company, probably had 5 or 6 brokers working for him. And they were paid an amount by the insurance company to help run their offices. And he invited me along to the head office of this particular insurance company to help him negotiate a better deal. And what he wanted was, he wanted a higher commission because his costs were going up each year. So we went along to this insurance company, and the conversation was going quite well. But what became very apparent was that one of the reasons why his costs were going up was the cost of compliance, because his biggest grievance was the time it took to do the paperwork and the compliance side of it, and it was slowing down the sales. And also his brokers, who were great salesmen, were very bad at paperwork. And during the conversation, I was asking the insurance representative how many other brokers they had in their organization. And he said they had about 500 brokers spread nationally. And I asked him if all of those brokers had the same issue as my friend did. And he agreed that they did. In fact, he had been a broker at one time himself, and he said it was a pain in the butt, the paperwork. He said he quite liked the industry, he liked the sales, but dealing with paperwork was a pain for him. And so I asked them both during this conversation if would they be prepared to pay a percentage, a smallish percentage, for someone to take away that headache. In other words, they could just focus on sales, and someone would do the compliance and the paperwork, and it'd be an individual department for it. And they agreed that it would. I suggested to the insurance company that my friend become that compliance department, because he was familiar with how everything worked, and he had a good handle on how to procedurize this process. And the insurance company not only agreed, but gave my friend office space in their building to become that compliance department. That business grew into, that was a $10 million a year business eventually. But it came from just being engaged and being present in a conversation and being aware of any kind of potential. So we went in to negotiate one thing and came out with an entirely different thing. And I believe that every person you talk to, regardless of what they're doing, whether they work for you, whether they're a friend, whether they're a business associate, every conversation has potential. You just don't know what that potential is. You just got to be present, aware, and interested, and awake to what potential there is in everybody that you meet. So I thought that was an interesting conversation that it was kind of blast from the past of a situation that's just being aware in the conversation that there was lots of things that could be done, made a fantastic deal happen. If you're interested in working with me, you can reach me at markmcrae.com. Thanks for listening.